It'd be like that. Better to show up imperfectly than to not show up at all. That's it, I'm cured. That was a little dramatic, was it not? I'm fully a hater. But I am just like every girl ever, and that's a flex. And now that you don't have to be perfect, you can be good. Welcome to Day in My Life. Mental health awareness. Bitches are aware, okay? I'm aware. However, I do feel that in a world of Instagram highlights and being confused in your 20s and your 30s, even your 40s, your 50s, in a world of having so much access to what everybody else is doing, and a lot of times that doing being presented in a way that's highly curated, in a world of being post-grad and thinking that everybody else around you just went straight into their dream job, or thinking that everybody else has more money than you, or thinking that everybody else knows what they want out of life more than you do, or thinking that everybody else has a more stable family or a better relationship or better friends. I do think that we need more representation for what it looks like to advocate for yourself and what it looks like to have a difficult time at an inconvenient time. We need representation for what it looks like to see somebody that you graduated high school with have a bad Monday and take care of themselves and prioritize themselves in a world that values productivity and contribution to capitalism. I do think that we need more representation for what it looks like to be depressed or to be traumatized or just generally going through a hard time, whether that be with grief or heartache or feeling directionless, whatever of the many different kinds of pain we can feel it is that you're experiencing, but on a more micro level, on a more daily basis. I think that as a society, we have seen more of a progression of hashtag mental health matters, hashtag self-care day, and while that is valuable, it can only be valuable up to a certain point, because a lot of times those are only small glimpses into, again, a highly curated moment. And there's also something to be said about the fact that not everybody has access to the same tools and resources. So here I am, just a very average day in my life. It's a Monday. I wish I could say it's a Monday morning, but it's like 4 p.m. 5 p.m. It's turned 5 p.m. I would literally normally be getting off in like half an hour, and I am barely about to take my meds. I figured we could take them together because in case you need that, because it's a good way to be held accountable. It's a good way to, I don't know. And that's not to say that medications are for everybody. I have nuanced thoughts on medication, just like I have nuanced thoughts on everything. But the only way to normalize things is by not shying away from them. Hold up, my camera's about to die. So here I am, your average 20-something, called out of work today because I'm having a difficult time. This is not anything new to me. If you are familiar with me at all, I'm so sorry. I feel like I have mentioned this so many times, but it is just a layer of my experience that I don't want to shun. And I think that there's so much freedom that can be found in knowing somebody who has openly disclosed that they have had an experience like this. But if you are familiar with this channel at all, or if you're not, I shared that I was in treatment for a pretty prolonged period of time at the beginning of this year for some mental health issues that I have dealt with really for such a long time. But earlier this year, I got to a point of crisis and needed an extra layer of support. Since then, I have had many good days, I have had many breakthroughs, and I have had many bad days, and that is to be expected. Today is one of the harder days. Sometimes you don't really know why. Sometimes there is a very specific trigger. Everybody's experience with mental illness and mental disorders and trauma are so different. For some people, it's rooted in a specific event. For others, it is something that they are still navigating. I don't personally, and have never, I don't know if I ever will, feel comfortable sharing the details of my trauma. I think that there is such a fine line between empowerment through transparency, but also contributing to the endless floodgate of trauma porn unnecessarily. And I don't think that in order to communicate the message I want to, which is that I care about you and that there are other people who are making it through this thing alongside you, it requires me disclosing personal, intimate information in that way. Basically, I don't think that I have to divulge the details of everything that's ever happened in my life in order for us to connect with each other. I think that it can be enough for me to be here and to show up like this imperfectly and show you how I show up and show you how I get through the days that are harder and set myself up for continued success on days that are nicer, kinder, not as rough. So yeah, here I am. Very interesting if this is the first video you've ever seen of mine. My name is Rosalie. I say this all the time, but I'm very bad at self-introductions because I'm just generally a well-intentioned but very awkward human being. I'm 23. I live in Dallas, Texas, originally from California, kind of all over California. I lived throughout the state as an adolescent. I live with my partner that I've been with for almost 5 years. I have 2 pets that are the loves of my life. I'm a Scorpio sun, Aquarius moon, Aquarius rising, and I will link a video here if you're more curious about who I am. But today I am just a girl who just got the will to brush her teeth and wash her face and put her hair up in a ponytail and lift the blinds at 5 p.m. on a Monday. I'm a girl who slept in until 1:30 today. I am a girl who lives with CPTSD and depression and anxiety and many other complex issues that tend to be secondary to those issues. But you know what? You know what the thing is? You know what the thing is? My chemical imbalances are beating my ass, but I throw hands, okay? If there's one thing about me, I am inventive, I am creative, and I am clever in the ways that I face adversity. So let's get through the day. I've really taken the pressure off to do all of the things that I'm scientifically supposed to do today. This is not going to be the video where I reset my life, vacuum every inch of my apartment, call all of my friends, go for a 5K run. Like, that's not what we're doing today. There are days where that is appropriate. There are days where that is helpful. Today, it is not gonna work for me. I have committed to being intuitive with what my body needs today. I think washing the gunk out of my eyes was a good place to start. Taking my meds was another great place to start. I'm proud of myself for getting some food in my body. And if that is all that you can do today, that is a lot. That is a lot to be proud of. If all you can manage to do today is wake up for 5 minutes to call into work and say you won't be there, that is an accomplishment. If all you can manage to do today is get out of your bed to shower and then get back in your bed and fall asleep, that is an accomplishment. I sound like a broken record, but I'm gonna repeat the mantra that has resonated with me and gotten me through the past year or so, which is that hope is an act of rebellion in a climate that encourages hopelessness. You can rest assured that love is real because you are living proof of it, and I want you to sit with that. I also just sorry, I know I've been talking for a long time. I'm not sorry, this is my channel. I also just want to say a bit about how this conversation is so, what is the word I'm looking for? There's a lot to unpack with this conversation, right? I am not oblivious to the fact that it is such a privileged option to be able to take a day for yourself, to be able to have access to medical care, to mental health care, to basic needs that inevitably contribute to your mental stability, to have a support system, to have the luxury of time, to have even $5 in your bank account to go walk and get a nice coffee to cheer you up a little bit. I am not oblivious to the fact that it is such a luxury to be able to even have this conversation from the point of view that I'm having it from. And I recognize that there might be somebody watching this video who is having a very difficult day and is maybe undocumented, so they cannot call out of work because their employer refuses to see them as a human being that deserves respect and benefits. There might be somebody watching this video who has been struggling with their mental health for a very long time, a longer time than is cute anymore to their employer, and is worried that this time if they call out, that's going to be it. That's going to be the final straw and they're going to be fired. I recognize that all of these things are variables that a lot of people live with, and while I don't have solutions to them to present you with, despite the fact that I really wish I did. I hope that it can offer you some kind of solace that I care and that there is somebody who talks about these things, volunteers to help for these things, votes for these things to change, and is going to school to, you know, hopefully make a dent in the fight for all of these intersectional issues. But that's so fucking depressing. Oh my god, I've already set it up today. Yeah. I never want this conversation to come off as get a therapist. Here's an ad from our sponsor. Like, I can't. I cannot. I will not. I can swear on that. I love you. I know that that tends to sound really ingenuine from random people on the internet, but I say that as somebody who is picturing my 14-year-old self on the other side of the screen, laying in her bed of the week, watching her favorite YouTuber, very malnourished, very much in a bad place, looking for some kind of reflection staring back at me, some kind of indicator of hope. And so please believe me when I say that I love you. I love you so much. I care about you so much. I am so glad that you exist in the same world that I do. I don't have to know you personally to value your safety or your health or your peace or your rights. I'm just gonna make myself feel worse. Okay, the video's done. We just talked for 15 minutes. If you are still here after all of that, I think I'm gonna start by setting literally a 3-minute timer and just picking up these blankets, because as obnoxious as it is, having a clean space really does make me feel better, which is fucking, like I said, it's so obnoxious, but it's true for me personally. So I'm gonna start by putting these blankets away, folding them, fluffing the couch, whatever, and then if I'm feeling ambitious enough, if I get enough momentum, making the bed. But I'm not gonna be mad at myself if I can't make the bed. And then tonight I have a yoga class that I am supposed to go to in about 2 hours. I don't know if I will make it. I'm not gonna be upset with myself if I don't. We're gonna take this one foot in front of the other. We're gonna be really honest. We're gonna feel all the feelings, and we are not gonna shame ourselves, and we are not going to let hopelessness win. So on that cheesy note, thank you for being here. Welcome to Day in My Life. I just got sucked into my phone for like 10 minutes, and that's real. You know what though? If the universe was gonna give me the cards I was dealt, at least it also gave me hilarious ass friends. You know, that's the thing. Okay, I'm watching some random podcast interview Madison Beer. Let's be ambitious and do 5 minutes. 5 whole minutes. Wow. No, I'm gonna do 3. Fuck that. Okay. Aesthetic shot. Wait. Can you see?
I feel like even if someone is hard, it you'll, you know, like I can't do, so I just stand supposed.
Let's make the bed, shall we? Let's put on a playlist. What should we listen to? I cackle. I was about to say, not to sound like every girl ever, but I am just like every girl ever, and that's a flex. I was gonna say, let me not play folklore for the fucking millionth time this week. I'm actually so late on the folklore train. Like, I was a huge Speak Now girl at the time. Like, I had the actual CD, and it was like my religion at the time. I remember there was a magazine that did there was a magazine that did like a special edition entire magazine on Taylor Swift, and I had it, and I like cut it to scraps and scrapbooked with it. Like, I was obsessed. But that was a really long time ago. And then my best friend is like a huge Swiftie, and she would always like send me songs from the more recent albums and like add them to our playlists, like our shared playlists and stuff. And then this is so funny. I think when I was in treatment, LOL, I started really connecting with her music, which is kind of hilarious. Anyway, let's make the bed. Roxy, come here. Congratulate me. Say, yeah, Mom. Thank Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. ESA, clocking in for her shift. She has soupies right now. What? Oh my goodness, she's like, Mom, I know you're depressed, but please take me to pee, please. Oh, I love you. Okay, one thing you have to understand about me, and I think it's pretty obvious by now, but I make a lot of hee-hee ha-has about being miserable. It's just kind of how I get through my life. I'll be like so sad, like I'll be so distraught, in so much anguish, and then I put my AirPods in and I'm like, wait. That was a little dramatic, was it not? All it takes is like a couple songs, and then I remember that I have the will to live. Anyways, I'm gonna take my dog outside to go potty because I am being neglectful at the moment. Oh my god, it's 95 degrees. Why is that necessary? Oh, but it feels like 106. Okay, cool. Love that. I do need to take her potty though, because it says that it's about to storm, which you never really know here because it'll be literally 106 and so hot you can't imagine rain, and then all of a sudden it's like tornado warning and it's completely dark outside and there's sideways rain. So even though I wish this was proper attire for the world today, it's not. So I have to change. Oh, my goodness. Summer months in Texas are a workout because not only am I sweating from how hot it is, but I also am carrying this weight. Thank you. It says thank you, Mom. Thank you for not letting me walk. Honestly, I do believe in living and let living. Live and let live. But when I see someone letting their dog walk on the trail when it's this hot, I'm a hater. I'm fully a hater. Why are they doing that? I don't know. Why are they doing that? There will be no heat stroke in my house. A very sweet man just complimented my tattoo, and it did in fact give me a god complex. That's it, I'm cured. You like to eat? Good girl. I've been loving making Roxy and Eddie homemade treats for the summer just because it's such a good way to hydrate them, especially with how hot it is here. This recipe is pineapple and carrots. I just blend the actual fruit and then make it into like a slushy and then freeze it overnight. There's so many different variations you can do. I just of course would recommend making sure that it's not something your pet is allergic to, making sure that it's not something that's toxic to pets. Please be careful. There are a lot of things that are surprisingly very dangerous for them to have. And of course you always want to feed in moderation. Look at her. She's like, please, another one, please. Hi, Mama. What? Sit. Good girl. Hi, Eddie. Here he comes, lurking from out of the shadows. You want a treat? He says, what if I sit? Will you give me one too? Meow. He's like, I'm confused. Where is mine? Meow. Here. So I've decided to go to yoga even though I really don't feel like it, because I've given myself permission to literally stop in the middle of what I'm doing and just chill in child's pose if I get halfway through it and I'm like, I should not have come. And because the instructor that I really love is taking a break for the next couple months. So this is the last opportunity that I have to see her, and I'm just amusing myself. Maybe it'll be better than I'm expecting. Maybe I'll end up coming home in such a better mood. Who knows? If that isn't the case, at least I tried. I'm drinking a smoothie that I prepped yesterday. I'm so thankful that I did that because I don't have the energy to make myself any lunch, but I definitely need to eat. That's something that I recommend if you struggle with your mental health. Keeping some sort of protein powder or keeping something on hand that is filling, like a banana or something else that might be high in fiber, just so that even if you don't have the motivation to feed yourself, you are feeding yourself. Obviously, I'm not a nutritionist and I will never encourage you to undereat, but I do know that that tends to be one of the first things that goes out of the door for me as a priority when I'm having a hard time. So I encourage you to find simple ways to make it easier to integrate meals when you're just having a hard time mustering up the will to even get out of bed. Again, of course, meals are ideal. You want to eat a balanced diet. Please do not undernourish yourself, but it is important that you're getting at least something into your body, especially in a case like this where I'm about to go ask my body to do something for me. It would be a disservice to my body if I wasn't fueling it with anything. I'm gonna drink this and then we're gonna head to yoga. I'm cutting it pretty close because honestly, I'm not in the mood to socialize with anyone, and if I get to the mat early, that's typically what happens. So I'm kind of planning on just walking in right at the last minute and getting a spot in the back. So it'd be like that. Better to show up imperfectly than to not show up at all. Cheers.
That's true. They're like different friends for different things. It's like your acquaintances.
Hello, I'm back from yoga, freshly showered. I still don't really feel any different, but I'm proud of myself for going to the class. I actually got the bug to go lift afterwards, but then I got all the way to the gym and then I realized I didn't have my AirPods and I was like, okay, that's a sign, I'm not going, which is fine. It's probably for the best anyways, but I just made plans with one of my friends to get coffee in the morning, so I'm proud of myself for reaching out to my village, even on a day when it is tempting to isolate. That's a habit that I developed when I was younger. It's a habit that I've really tried to break since I've been in therapy the past few years and been doing work, because while there is a time for being alone and reflecting internally, there's also so much power in community. And if there's one lesson I've learned, it's that just because you can do life alone doesn't mean that you should, and it doesn't mean that you have to. So I just feel so tired and just so like fatigued and just so numbed out, you know. My therapist would say that I'm dissociating. I don't know. I'm learning with every day that feels like this, or every moment that feels like this, to let the feelings pass and not punish myself for them, because I'm already going through it. I might as well not put myself through suffering twice by being mean to myself about it. One of my favorite philosophies is just that you can't bully yourself into healing. You can't hate yourself into feeling better. And to just try to be neutral about the diagnoses that I live with and the feelings that come with it and the struggles that come with it. That definitely doesn't mean to be complacent, but it means to notice them, to observe them, and to not be so mean to myself for experiencing them and for not being so perfect. I posted something on my story yesterday because I have this habit of, when I'm at the gym, I will scroll through this specific Pinterest board that I have. It's called Internalize, and it's basically just things that I like to read that are super positive, just good reminders, things that I want my brain to soak up, because I find that while I'm lifting, like while I'm doing the leg press, I need to be looking at something so I don't think about everybody in the gym looking at me, even though I know they're not. But I don't want that something to be social media or something that's unproductive. So I'll use that time to scroll. And anyways, yesterday when I was doing that, I stumbled across this one that I really love, and different ones hit harder on different days, but this one specifically resonated with me enough for me to post it on Instagram, which is something that I'm doing more recently. I'm back on Instagram, which is honestly really terrifying, and I should explore if that's why I feel like this, because I got back on Instagram this week. Anyways, finally making it back to my point. It said, and now that you don't have to be perfect, you can be good. And I don't think there's a single person in the world who doesn't struggle with perfectionism. I mean, maybe that's an overgeneralization. Maybe I'm just saying that to make myself feel better. I don't know if it comes with age. I don't know if it's something that I've been able to unlock through sorting through my trauma. I don't know what it is, but you just reach a certain point where it's like, look kid, it's me and you till the end of time. I'm in your corner, you know. Tell me what we need to do to collaborate. Tell me what we need to do to be kinder, to get through the day. Anyways, I'm gonna just curl up with a book. There is truly nothing better than being freshly showered in my favorite PJ set, which is this one at the moment, and reading a good book. I'm halfway through this one. I would love to finish it today because I was on such a good stride. I had read like 27 books, and then June hit and I just plateaued. But I was on such a roll, so I'm trying to get the wheels turning again. But I also don't like the idea of reading just to hit a certain metric. Like, I want to read more because I'm noticing that I'm doing it less, and I don't want to lose that habit now that I'm reintegrating social media and balancing more of a social life and a work life and like community events. But I also want to hit my Goodreads goal. I think just generally it's important to do things for the right reasons. A couple days ago, I finished the rest of the story by Sarah Dessen. If you saw my Vlogmas vlogs from last December, I talked about how I reread one of my favorite books of all time by Sarah Dessen. It's called Lock and Key, and I resonate with it a little bit too closely. I went on a whole rant about that. But I first read it in middle school, and then I came across it at the library at the end of last year and was like, let me see what it's like to read this 10 years later. I wonder if I'll love it as much. And I did. I really like this author. She has a lot of books. She tends to write about things that are eerily in alignment with my life. So they always hit home. So yeah, I finished this. It was a really good summer read. It's about a girl who goes from one side of the lake that she lives on, which is the wealthier side, to a side of the lake that is obviously less wealthy and where a lot of her relatives that she's estranged from live. She ends up connecting with her roots again and finding out more about what her deceased mother's life was like when she was growing up. There's a love interest that's really wholesome, and it's just all the, it's very Galveston. You know, it's very beach town, but southern beach town, like humid beach town. And I say that because there's a hurricane that strikes, so you know. Currently, I'm in the middle of Meet Me at the Lake by Carly Fortune. I read Every Summer After last year, actually literally this time last year, and I loved it. I know that people have mixed opinions about that book, but I loved that book. I thought the slow burn was so good. I love a then and now timeline. It was good. I loved that book. I have to say I'm halfway through this one and I like it, but it's definitely pulled me in less. I remember when I read Every Summer After, I literally couldn't put it down. I read it in, I think, like a couple sittings when we were driving to New Orleans last year. And this one I've been trying to read since I got on my flight to go visit Chico like over a week ago now. And I keep picking it up. I keep not being able to get sucked into it. But maybe the last half of it will take me by storm. Who knows? I don't mind it. It's not bad. It's just, I don't know. I know that everybody's saying this, but I do really wish that Carly Fortune would have written a spin-off of Every Summer After about the brother. What was his name? Charlie? That would have been good. But she can do what she wants. And then after this, I'm reading Happy Place. I started it. I'm actually doing a reading vlog, which I'm really excited about. But I want to finish this before I hop back into that because I love Emily Henry's books. I know that's also kind of controversial. Well, not really. I think the girlies generally love Emily Henry. But I love Emily Henry's books. I wish I didn't. I feel like such a cliche. And then I realized that that is just my internalized misogyny telling me that anything women love is embarrassing. And then I'm like, no, that's not embarrassing. I love Emily Henry's books. So all of that being said, look at the way that talking about books has made me smile. Has been depressed all day, talks about what she's reading, suddenly feels alive again. Sounds about right. Yeah, so I'm gonna curl up with my book, make some dinner, spend some quality time with my partner, my pets, and just soak up that love and lean into this home that we have. I'm so grateful to have a place where I feel safe and seen and held. And sometimes those are just the things that you have to lean into and grab onto to get through the rough moments. So yeah, really grateful, really proud of myself. Fighting the good fight, not giving up, even if I wanted to. I have a recovery tattoo now, so I have to stay committed. And I don't know, I hope that me sharing all of this helps somebody. I never hesitate talking about this, but then sometimes it crosses my mind that it could find the wrong audience, and I think that's always a risk that you take, but it's even more scary when you're in a mental state that's not the best. But I'm really grateful for creators that I follow that inspire me, like Reese Reagan and Maddie Dragsbeck, Lynn Trong. I mean, I think it would be a disservice to not shed light on the to not shed light on the broad range of emotions that we feel. So let's get cozy.